that. But at least I'd say for the second story, we know that the war between the elves and Emera is gonna come to a conclusion. The hostilities will be ceased, and in the end, that for the Order's plan will kind of crumble. It won't be over. They'll have alternatives lined up, but this is. I mean, that war was their big plan on how to destroy the tree. Now that that's no longer an option, they have to reconsider their options here. Because they were able to steer the nation towards that war by having a lot of key individuals, order individuals, basically Templars, in the military and in the government, and as ruling body in the palace. I mean, they controlled everything. Now those people have been removed. They don't have the same amount of influence anymore, so they're going to have to make some drastic measures there. They're going to have to get desperate, which is when mistakes are going to be happening. And I'd say in the third story as well, we're going to see a lot more Sentinel activity. In the first story, their presence, their existence is just going to be hinted at. In the second story, I'd say we'd see the uprising of a few of them. And in the third story, I'd say that, the Assassin's Order, or the Sentinel Order in this case, is going to be a real group. They're going to be organized, they're going to be ready to finish this war. And I'd almost go as far as to say that maybe, we'll make sure that the third story happens not straight after the second. We'll have some spacing in there. And give some patches of time there. Because the first and second, they're basically happen right after one another, after each other. There might be like a couple of weeks difference, but that's minuscule.
Fair.
It's not really noteworthy. The third one is going to be a pretty, I wouldn't say like very far off, but a handful of years maybe. Somewhere between one year and 5 years, so nothing major, but a sizable jump. So it would kind of explain why the Sentinel Orders suddenly kind of grow, because they've had 5 years to build something up. That's plenty of time. And we can obviously make it so that the elven society has kind of adapted. They've kind of worked together with Emera now, so they've kind of technologically evolved a little bit as well in that passage of time. And obviously the Order, they've been busy in that time as well, which kind of gives me the opportunity to give them something new that we haven't seen before. Because again, they also had that time to build, do whatever.
Fair.
So we can start doing fresh new things, which is why time skips like this are usually used in the first place. But again, very, very long after even Delta even get that far. But at least, for as far as the Trinity is concerned, you have to kind of keep it into consideration. I am not sure exactly, what the grand story arcs for each individual character is probably going to be. I'd say, at least for Carter, it's going to be roughly established. Amy is probably going to be dead in the second story near the end. Or hell, it might even be a shock kill in the first story, where he's had 5 years of relative peace, and that's suddenly taken away from him. I think that would hurt even more than having it be at the end of 2. Having it be at the start of 1 or of 3. I mean, even more heartbreaking. So what if Carter now has a family? He now has a relatively happy life. He has a family, and that's taken from him suddenly. Now that tends to fuck someone up a bit.
I hate this game.
This dark, information broker line, because he did, he played around in an intelligence agency, so he has a lot of info now, and he probably has learned a lot of methods to get information from people as well. So he's changed in the second story for sure. Because the intelligence agency arc is going to be very dark. Like they do things for the betterment of the nation, but the way they go about this is definitely very fucking morally grey. And the only thing that I'd say, that the more Carter interacted with that, the more I'd say reckless and wild he kind of becomes, or the more neutered he becomes in his feelings. That the first once he's the one interrogating someone, he's a little bit freaked out over it because he's not like a very violent person yet. So when he's told to kind of beat him up for information, you know, he kind of doesn't really know how to feel about that. And later in the story, he doesn't give a fuck. He'll twist your fucking fingers straight off if that's what it takes.
Well, he'll cut small parts of the fingers off and
Yeah.
just keeps on proceeding further down the finger.
He'll be pretty ruthless when it comes to threatening people and stuff like that. He'll be pretty good at what he does. And the only thing kind of keeping him in check and making sure that he's not completely going off the deep end is Amy. Obviously, yeah, he has that to anchor him down. And once his role there is done, he is happy to abandon the agency and go with Amy and just build a life there. But once that comes crashing down, he falls back on what he now knows best, which is all the dark shit he's been taught in the agency. And obviously, he doesn't really feel a big degree of loyalty towards the nation. He just kind of wants to do it for himself-ish. He has his own reasons now. Maybe like a personal vendetta, obviously, against the people that took Amy away. So he might. It depends on how things go a little bit. And this is not something I can really say for certainty now, but he might become a semi-villain near the end of the trilogy. Something that the other characters are going to have to deal with. He might not even be on everyone's side.
Like what tends to happen with him.
Yeah. At least for the grand scheme of things, obviously this trilogy is going to have, I would say, a relatively quote-unquote happy ending. The Order is going to be defeated and their plan is going to be halted, but significant amounts of damage will be done. So, the tree, there's no imminent danger anymore, but, it's still hurting and it's still not looking good, so that leaves room for like an epilogue story or something like that. That was also already planned for in the original trilogy. Hell, it even has a prologue story, but I still have to readapt that one, and I don't like readapting stuff, so I'm kind of putting that off until I've got more time. I might get that taken care of in my 4 free days coming up.
Fair.
Yeah, well. And it's because I want to have the story be open-ended to some degree, because I like the universe in which it's taking place in. So, if I ever were to make a follow-up story that's not directly connected to this, I can still base it in that universe as if it's kind of like a spin-off that happens later after this is all taken care of. Or, add a story that takes place at the same time as the main trilogy, but, just from a perspective you haven't seen. Or, I want to expand this universe a little bit, because this is still the same universe that the original fantasy story played in, that the spin-off played in, that the pilot story then played in, and now, we've got this version of it. That's the universe, that's some, background world-building lore I've, developed over, years at this point. I think it has, great potential. At least I'd like to think so. But yeah, so that's all we've got for Carter then. So from 1 to 5, we'll see him, just as a regular cleaner. Now, I'd say in the little break periods, I don't know which chapters this is going to be, because, I haven't planned that far ahead yet in the first story. Duncan will kind of go home, a lot will have happened by then. And, he'll meet Carter again, and I'd say, Carter hasn't changed an awful lot. He just catches Duncan up on exactly what's happened, and that's just not a lot. So, Carter's like telling him exciting stories about, the different methods of cleaning he has now and his other, his new partner. And Carter's trying to explain this as if it's kind of exciting, and Duncan's just listening to it and going, wow, my life used to suck. That was boring as shit. Like where previously, they had a level of connection because, they shared the same job. Right now, Duncan finds it difficult to kind of relate to Carter anymore. Because, Duncan's done some, really different stuff now. And he's lived a completely different life. And he's done some stuff that is both terrifying and cost people lives. So, he's kind of desensitized by this point. And the whole cleaning a fucking airbase thing. He finds it difficult to, you know, really talk to Carter about that, because it's like faking your interest in any conversation. It's difficult. I can't do it. If I can't be fucked to, you know, talk about something, I won't talk about something. Which I suppose is kind of the way Duncan's gonna do it, where initially he might try, but he might eventually, you know, quickly brush Carter off and kind of, you know, act a little. I mean, I don't say it's like he's trying to be rude, but he's definitely going to come across as rude. So it's gonna cause a little bit of disconnect between him and Carter.
Fair.
Now, one thing that's going to happen, I'm not sure when. It might already have happened by this point. Might happen later. It should be very obvious from all the setup in the first few chapters. Obviously, he's going to have a romance arc with Nerd. Clearly. Not that big of a shock, considering how the two meet.
Fair.
And the impact that this girl has on his life.
Okay.
Which might have happened, you know, might happen later, or at least at the point that they meet again, which Carter might notice. And considering that, I'd say at least in this point in the story, and I'd say that this might be a recurring thing throughout the entire thing, because this is true to life as well. Romantic relations between, you know, servicemen or pilots or anything in the military is actually forbidden. You don't do that. Now, this is not something that could immediately get you expelled or kicked out, but there'll be repercussions. This is something that's generally frowned upon. So
yeah, you've told me that before.
So this could be. I mean, Carter. I mean, the thing is, timeline-wise, I'm not sure if by then, when Duncan meets Carter again in the first story, that it would have happened already. It really depends on how long I drag out that first, you know, deployment phase, and what happens during it that causes them to, you know, develop these feelings.
Murder.
Murder's always a good one.
Just stabbing someone right in the neck.
Yeah, that makes girls go crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Whenever you finally murder someone, the girls go, "Oh wow, wish you did that to me," and you're like, "What?"
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
And then you're like, "Well, I can stab you with something else," and that's when the cops are called.
Yep. And that's another mission line done. I am actually getting close to the end of the game.
Nice.
There are 2, 4, like 6 missions left. If I have to believe the fandom page you have open, which has all the missions.
Fair enough.
And I just do that to like route and such for myself, like what mission line to do.
Yeah.
So I don't accidentally do another mission line while I'm still doing a mission line. I want to finish the line that I'm doing before I go for the next line, you know?
Makes sense.
You weren't followed. Good. This is it. I'm way over my head and I'm starting to drown here. The CIA seems to have a vested interest in Spank, and they don't like us screwing with the cartel.
Was there anything? I mean, so we've got Carter pretty much squared away now. For Drew, I think it's difficult to really iron anything out, considering how late he shows up in the first story. I mean, I haven't even planned past chapter 4 yet, so, and he'll definitely appear in Act 3, which is way down the line. I mean, he might show up a bit sooner now that I think about it, but that only, I mean, the helicopter pilot obviously has to be is going to crash near the L, so be the one that makes first contact with them. I know that the crash happens at the start of the second act, which
It's
is like, you know, a whole
it's a
20
helicopter,
chapters
right?
away. Yeah,
Well, Glavik, you're going to beat the elves first.
yeah. So he's gonna basically commit suicide into a forest, gets rescued by a cute-looking fox girl, which is like this ancient forest spirit that the elves are not particularly fond of anymore. So she's going to basically, you know, try. They're going to be trying to, obviously, you know, get the elves to like them, and they'll slowly figure out, you know, what's going on, because the elves definitely won't like the aberrant pilot, and they sure as fuck won't like the evil spirit god. So, whoops, they kind of, you know, the worst two people ever to make contact with the elves, that's for sure. But there they are.
Right
They'll soon
there.
learn why they're so, you know, distrusted, and they'll figure out, you know, what's going on here. That'll be fun.
Fair.
But thing is that the moment the amount of time spent between him crashing on in the forest and him meeting the elves, that's, I have no idea how early or late that's going to be in Act 2. Now Act 2 is going to be big. It's we're looking at least twice the size of Act 1, if not even more. So I imagine on the grand scale of things, it's gonna happen at least, I'd say, in the first half. I'd even dare say maybe in the first quarter. So you've got 3 quarters of Act 2 and then the whole of Act 3. So in actual fact, I'd say Drew has a relatively big part in the story then overall.
True.
He has a lot of potential screen time here. So that's alright. But at least for, because we know he's kind of being used as like a translator here between the elves and the pilot. Because he's the one that is at least, you know, because he'll start out not knowing fuck all about the language, or you know, about, you know, the common English that we're using. Probably have to name that a bit differently.
Fair.
But he'll pick it
Thank
up
you for
the
the follow.
quickest. Oh, hey, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Not my stream, but I'm thanking you anyway. I've hijacked the stream anyway, so it technically is mine now.
Yeah, you hijack it all the time with story stuff, so I'm used to it.
I just, you know, I just show up and start waffling about, and I just have to take in and like it.
Well, like it is a different thing. I just have to take it.
Well, thanks, dude. You just have to tell me you don't give a fuck. It's fine. Don't stop
I mean,
me, you know.
I mean, like, I'm okay with it. Like, during a game like this, I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to do anything for the main character. In Persona, it's different. In Persona, I really just don't like it. But that's because Persona requires my personal input as well on certain things.
Fair enough.
Like, in there, the main character doesn't talk, but you sometimes get a selection of lines. Which still, like, I give my idea about, like, why that reaction is best in my opinion. And then here, just the main character never ever talks, so there's just nothing really that matters in that regard.
Fair enough.
And Persona, it's like, the characters are so different, and everyone plays, like, the game a little bit differently, like, character-wise.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I can't just look up videos about it. Well, for this, it's all linear.
Yeah. Yeah. Clearly. Alright, so...
Also,
let's
hello,
see.
Tiki Wolf.
Hello there. So for the character of Drew here, obviously he's going to be a translator, and I'd maybe go as far as to say that he's at least, because he is going to be the one that picks up the language quicker than everyone else. I'd say that he kind of becomes the helicopter pilot's first, like, kind of elven friend there. Kind of becomes his, you know... It kind of becomes, you know, the elven equivalent of the Carter for Drew, or for Duncan.
Oh boy.
So we've got Carter and Duncan, and we've got Drew and this dumbass. I like that this time, I described the dumbass as not your character for once.
For once, yeah.
For once, yeah. Because this is a guy that he's a trained helicopter pilot, top of the line, cutting edge technology, and he lost a fight between an elf with a stick on a bird. Somehow he lost that fight. So I think calling him an idiot is a fair statement.
True. I'm okay. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm alright. So that one checks out for sure.
Still, he's revealed the
And
extent to
the
which
thing is that this is an arc that is likely, I'd say, the least developed right now, because as apart from the the helicopter crash, meeting the forest spirits, and ending up at the Elven Society, or that are still going to have to give a proper name. But the whole arc, what happens at this at that society, and how they interact with the locals and all that kind of kit and caboodle. Don't really know what happens there yet. I know that they won't be happy to see them, and that sooner or later they will be happy to see them, and that a lot of explanation is due about the way magic works and how it's tied to the tree, and therefore how it's tied to just life in general on that planet. But that's that's exposition, that's learning stuff. That's not exciting. You need to tie it into an adventure of some sort. So
Fair.
I'm going to have to spend some thinking juice on that, which, I mean, my whole talking experience here is becoming more and more insane, because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore, because I'm tired and I've used all my thought juice today.
Because of your work. Also, good morning.
Yeah, good morning or afternoon. Technically don't know when it is that you woke up, so we'll just settle for the morning.
Well,
Yeah.
good morning is common practice when somebody has just woken up.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, my speech patterns are becoming more and more incomprehensible as time goes on. Sorry about that.
We knew that already.
Not that I want to imply here that it was ever at an acceptable level. The moment I wake up, fresh as hell, ready to start my day, I already sound like a lemming. So
Yeah, fair. 8:35 p.m. Yeah, evening.
yeah. Yeah, I'm about to waddle my dumb ass downstairs, grab some dinner, and watch a movie for the rest of the night.
Fair. I'm going to be completing this game.
Fair. I mean, I was already watching the movie, but then I saw you were streaming, and I reminded myself that I actually had to discuss some things before I forget about them.
You had to remind
I
yourself
did, 'cause I had
that,
to
that
write it
you had to
down.
harass me for a couple of hours.
Yeah. Exactly,
Netherlands here.
You're from Korea. Wow. You have a friend that's from Korea, at least originally. Talking about Josie, by the way.
I know.
Yeah, just in case you forget, because she is from all over the place nowadays. She's lived everywhere at this point. And I actually have a friend that's in Korea right now, funnily enough. It's one of those students that I met that travels abroad for their studies. So they were in Rotterdam for a little while. I showed them around the city, and then to continue their master's degree, they had to go to Korea, where they are now.
Fair. I
Which
just made a
is-
mistake.
Which is a big, I always struggle to comprehend, going to a whole different country across the world for your studies. I mean, wow. That part of me
Wow.
thinks that's one of the coolest things, because I've never traveled anywhere outside of, well, the Netherlands and Belgium. I went like 100 meters into France, and that's about it. The furthest I've
Same.
ever gotten is like Disneyland. And as someone
I
that
went.
always really wanted to travel and see the world, like, I'm so jealous. I'm just beyond jealous.
Fair. I've gone a couple of meters into France, but that's because We in Belgium had to make a certain change in direction. However, that route was closed off, so
Right.
that's the only reason I've ever been in France.
Yeah. I hope to eventually go to Korea and other places because I've got a list of countries I want to visit, and at this moment in time, I think the list is easier summarized by the countries I don't want to visit as opposed to the ones I do, because I'll be spending a lot more time otherwise. Because there's barely any countries I don't want to visit, to be honest.
Fair.
The only few on my list that I don't want to see are the ones that will potentially kill me. The dangerous ones. I want to avoid those if I can.
Yeah, I get that.
Which, funnily enough, also includes Egypt, actually, because previously that was a country I wanted to go and see because of its cultural and historical significance. But the more I hear about it from people that have been there, the less excited I was about the idea of going there. It is a mess of a country. Like, the stories I hear, they are appalling. So, I've kind of let go of that idea for the most part.
Fair.
Then again, I suppose America is almost just as bad nowadays, and that one's still on my list, so what am I talking about? But yeah. Anyway, so story-wise, yeah, for the Drew character, we'll just have to wait and see. I want to go through the whole planning phase, act for act, basically. Obviously, I'll finish the planning phase for Act 1 and then do a bit of the writing, so I've got a general sense of the details of that arc. Plan out the second act, and get some progress into that, and then write out the third act. So it'll be a while until we even have the room to really consider Drew's role in it, because he does play a bigger role than I initially anticipated. So we likely have to give him something significant to do. He shouldn't be just the translator. He needs a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
I've got to figure that out. Obviously, we've got his quote-unquote romance subplot coming with one of the American pilots, who's yet to be decided upon. So we'll have to figure out which one that'll be. And I think it'd be nice, because we see this character, we'll see them in the first and second arc, or in second act even. Words.
Words.
In their natural habitat before any character development changes that happens, once that character meets the elves. So we can definitely see we can use that time to scout out potential characters for that arc.
Fair.
So I kind of want to toy around with the idea of it initially not being a perfect match. Like the two characters are definitely a little bit different initially, but throughout their own development, their changes as people, the situations they're in, they kind of grow closer together as time goes on. And near the end, they might be two completely different people that suddenly now do have a lot of chemistry. Because sometimes it happens in real life as well. Opposites attract in some weird way. Oddly enough, it works.
Yes, like magnets.
Yeah. And also, going back to what Tiki just said here, I don't know how I feel about America either. Part of me wants to go, part of me doesn't want to go. It's never really a country that I've always been completely sold on. I think part of the interest here is just one of the reasons that I want to visit is obviously just how prominent it is in our day-to-day life here. Anyway, you always hear about, you always see it, it's always talked about. So part of you is just curious, see it in person, see what it's like. And at least because I'm a history nerd, there's a couple of locations specifically I want to visit that don't really have to do with all of the drama that comes out that country as well. And I also, part of me, and this is going to be difficult to explain to my family, or to whoever I end up going to America with, I want to go on a New Vegas road trip. I want to see all the places that game has to offer, but then in real life. I want to visit the Strip. I want to visit Hoover Dam. I want to go to Good Springs of all places.
Oh boy. Here he goes again with his Fallout New Vegas.
I want to go to that cemetery and be shot in the face.
By someone named Benny?
Yeah, I'll wake up and like a robot's digging me up from the dirt, and I go, wait a minute, I've seen this. I've been in this situation before. Oh no. Then I see this like feral ghoul walking around, and I go, "Hey, Riddle's here! Holy shit, that's a coincidence."
Yeah, because you know.
No, actually, I think Riddle would be a super mutant.
No. Ghoul is actually works quite well. You know why?
Well.
In that story, my character was going to be a ghoul. Remember?
Yeah, but you see, ghouls, all they do is screech and run. Now, I've never seen you actually run. I'm not sure if you're capable of doing so, and super mutants are famous for being big and slow and stupid, which definitely describe, the hallmark characteristics of I said I wanted to say Duncan. Oops. of Riddle. I suppose Duncan too. God damn it, I just walked straight into that one. Great. Yeah, like I said, my brain is in the process of shutting down at the moment, so, whoopsie daisy. Oh, me, oh. Oh well, whoops. Well, I've re-exposed myself for being the biggest moron on this channel. What a shock. What a shock. Yeah, I know. What do you have? Yeah, fair enough. Right, fair enough. Anyway, I'm gonna grab my food and finish this movie. It's, I've written down all I need to write down for the story, and I'll probably continue that at some point tomorrow-ish. I don't know. But for now, I wanna just turn my brain off, watch a movie, and sleep. Oh yeah, and eat food. That's important too. Exactly, that's the plan. Anyway, well, have fun with the rest of your stream, and I'll see you later. See ya.
Miguel certainly has some of that famous Latin stamina. I'm quite exhausted. We underestimated Catalina's plans for Spank. It reaches far beyond the yardies selling it on the street corners. The cartel have a front company, the Kappa Coffee House. They've been selling Spank through the street stalls. We have no choice but to put these drug stands out of operation. Smash them to splinters.
Alright. So what do we have to do? We have to find... For fuck's sake. There's no spark that are really... Ugh, wait, but sure, I got out. 9 espresso stands. Nope, I have to get in via here specifically. Come on, out. Even better. All of them are this island direct. Oh boy. So there's 9 in general and not just... They don't just randomly pop up. No, they show on the map when you're close to them. That... Ugh. Okay, sure. Don't know how I feel about that. My headset just suddenly Bluetooth disconnected. Just loud. Yeah, thanks for connecting Bluetooth again. It's... I don't really want to hear that over and over, but sure. Okay, the mission is called Espresso to Go. Okay. It is indeed not random. There's one right here. And then there is one here-ish. Of course. I think I'm getting healed at the end of the mission though, luckily, so... How to do... Ooh. I don't have time for this, but I need it. I have 2 minutes to go to both places. If I'm unlucky, this bridge is open. Right. Just in time. Out of the way. Map. And right there. I have 1 minute to get there. Which, in theory, should be enough. Just out of the way. Oh boy. No, I'm not a fan of the physics in this game. I enjoy the game, but the physics just... Yeah. I just noticed it in a way that, you know, sometimes the car just flies away. It's like... Alright, thanks. But then again, the physics of every GTA game have been not really my favorite. That was on purpose. I just didn't want to go over that entire circle. And I know that this road can spawn some good vehicles as well. Here we go. Sam.
Do we tighten it some more now or just wait for it to turn black and fall off?
Give it a quick prod.
Oh, what is that gooey yellow stuff? Oh, hey, Pave!
My handyman.
I was bored, so I came over to keep Asuka company.
She's got the makings of a natural, this girl. She's managed to extract this little gem from our guest. There's a plane coming into Francis International in 2 hours' time. It is full of Catalina's poison. You can avoid airport security by getting a boat out to the runway light buoys and shooting the plane down on its approach. Collect the cargo from the debris and stash it.
Oh, you be careful now, okay, baby?
Now try the chili oil.
Okay.
There's a place you can go.
Fighting again. Out of the way. I have at least some rockets. Want to avoid hitting that buoy. I think I was just shooting at the wrong plane. Ah, this is going to be hell, isn't it? Oh, right, because I took down the helicopter, I immediately also get 5 stars. Delivered to the construction site. Yeah, I'm going to go all the way around, grab a car from here, drive it to the pay and spray. Just to avoid the cops. That's a police helicopter. Alright, gonna land here. I have to drive a long way if I gotta land here. Yeah, I'm trying to stop so I can get home here. Okay. From last checkpoint.
Do we technic some more now?
Right. It means I've got to do all of this again. Yeah, this mission is quite hell.
I got all your own defense needs.
Where's my damn tool?
I'm going to get you.
rocket launcher for the job, which I'll get there on that bridge. Which I'm going to try to actually bring my car down to. Because with luck, I could just end up here again and just drive it upwards. Plane is not on its final approach, but sure. Like it is that piece of trash right there. Okay. Oh god, after everything I just did again.
Do we technic someone now or just wait?
Discount. Getting there. Getting all the, yeah, I have ammo. I should just immediately move for the marker. I'm also not taking the package this time around. I don't have to do it on the way back, but I don't have to get that in general terms. Like that is something I can just remember for later down the line when I'm doing this. And my car should still be here when I come back. Once again, go past this thing, so at least it's not in your face. Yeah, it's all the way in the back there. It helps, I guess, that it landed right on me. Okay. I hate how the cops just show up out of thin air. But we're safe.
I'm hot tonight. Life is but make you feel okay. What you say?
Right, job done. Fucking hell. Now, I am up for finishing this. Honestly. Which you do. But it's incoming mission.
Bite my arse.
I got all your own defense needs.
There we go. Let's do this. So it's kill one person, save someone else. Like, that is the only bit of description that I have. Cute. That should be that right here. The exchange.
Sí, bueno. ¿Pa qué ese idiot? One of these Scarface idiots.
The real question is, did you turn up to rescue Maria or to get me back? Well, I got news for you. Shooting you will be a pleasure, but dating you was only business. You are muy pequeñito, amigo. Throw over the cash. You have been a busy boy, but you haven't learned. I'm not to be trusted. Kill the idiot!
Stop Yankee boy. You move it.
I don't even know where she is. You have 6 minutes to do this. It's like... There we go. Yeah, you have to get down there. Jesus Christ. Of course, there's a lot of just NPCs here.
You want the chainsaw, gringo?
Get this thing airborne!
You're going to pay for this.
What? Offshore delivery Complete a drop in the ocean. Okay, sure. Thank you for the follow. Sure. I did just see this cutscene. She's going to hover there and then land. And I have to go all the way around. So far, so good. I just seen this. Come on.
It's no problem to kill you. You move it. You big you gonna be sorry.
Alright, just going back. And that's that.
Residents in Cedar Grove have been coming to terms with the emotional aftermath of a full-blown war that hit the area yesterday. Local resident Clive Denver described to police a single gunman that he saw fleeing the scene with a dark-haired woman.
Oh, we're gonna have such fun, cause you know, I love you. I really do, cause you're such a big, strong man, and that's just what I need. Anyway, what was I saying? I forget, but you know what it's like, don't you?
The sound of explosions shook nearby homes as people ran for cover. Several citizens were injured in the panic as gunfire was exchanged between ground forces and a helicopter circling the dam.
Yeah, we got a good view from down here in the gardens when the copter finally got taken out. Better than the fireworks on the 4th of July.
With the death toll already over 20, police are still finding bodies. There have been no official denials concerning rumors that the dead were members of the Colombian cartel, and still no leads as to the cause of the massacre.
I broke a nail and my hair is ruined. I mean, can you believe it? This one cost me $50.
I just got an achievement called Dirty Money, which is a massive fortune of 1 million. We've done it. Also, me pressing Shift Tab to get into the Steam overlay just completely broke the music, which, yeah, fair. I like how the entire screen is just stuck. Oh no, never mind. Right, a man earned a criminal rating of 2K500. Oh, there we go. Not so fast. Complete the exchange. Which in turn means we've done the entire main story. That was it. Thank you very much for watching. Will I go through the same thing for Vice City? Most likely, yeah. Will I go through Vice City stories and Liberty City stories? Probably. China Towers? Also very likely. 4? Yes. 4 I've already started. San Andreas, by the way, most likely as well. I'm getting back into these games, so they're definitely worth it. However, this is it for GTA 3 Definitive Edition. I have finally, for once in my life, completed GTA 3. Which, yeah, I'm happy with. It was definitely worth it. So, in any case, have a good one, and very simply said, see you next time. Good day.